All right. Can you please explain to me what the higher self is, and how does that relate to who we perceive ourselves to be?
Who we perceive ourselves to be. Your higher self is the easiest way I can sum it up, I guess. It's almost like a version of you who is more understanding of the world and how to get what you actually want in a way that you don't quite understand yourself yet. So it's a version of you who knows best always. And it's that part of us that many people would call intuition, and what a lot of people block out as, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Like a,
An
like,
instinct?
no, not in, well, yes, I was thinking more like sudden inspiration, you know,
Epiphany?
epiphany. Epiphany is a message of your higher self, because we are all creating beings. So we're constantly creating, and there's no such thing as time. We live on a linear plane, so we can experience our existence by experiencing one another, by experiencing the creation and the co-creation of everything. But what I'm trying to circle back to is your higher self is the version of you who knows your purpose on earth, and they are guiding you towards that, but they're also guiding you towards abundance and goodness and what you came here to experience. So if we circle back to what you said, instinct, um, yeah. So have you ever had a thought where it's just kind of like people call it your gut, and you just like want to trust your gut? That's your higher self. And some people will say, there's, when it has to do with control, like, doesn't that make you feel a little like, doesn't that make you feel restricted? If that means that you have a higher self, well, it's the opposite, because it takes away all control. And once you decide to actually let go of all control, and that means all planning for, being in your head and planning ahead for every future circumstance, that's an action out of fear. And if you let go, which is a very difficult thing to do, and some people don't like doing it because it's a sense of safety, but if you actually went to a place where you just listen to your intuition and listen to your higher self continuously and consciously, with the understanding and the knowing that it will never lead you in the wrong direction, that much trust in yourself is something that a lot of people in the spiritual community want to get, because once you have a connection like that, then people will find manifesting much easier. There's not as much deciphering. Like, if you just trust your gut, what does that mean? For example, like, if I had the instinct to, for some reason, go into the store and buy distilled water, not something I usually do, but I just had an instinct to do it, and it just so happens, let's say, that my instinct telling me to do that, well, earlier on I said, you know what, I'd love to make a contact with someone who um, could get me into, like, the writing business. Wouldn't that be cool? That's all I said. So now that I'm telling the story, I went into the store, bought distilled water, chatted with a lady there, and just so happens that her sister was like a producer, or somebody who works at Netflix. And she was like, yeah, you should send over your stories. Like, just like that, I got the connection that so many writers look for, and it is that easy. And so the trap that we fall into in the physical so often is we try to control what happens next. But if we just let go and allow the universe, or your higher self, really, because we are reality, we are creating everything. So we'll get to that later, right, in terms of what that means. But you being reality that you create, you can start seeing signs of it appear as well, which is really cool. But circling back, higher self, it's the you that knows best. It's the you that's your instinct. It's the you that is the natural you that we come to in our lives to want to go back to. It's the you when you're a kid It's the you without any people criticizing or judging you, with whoever you are, whatever you are being. You know, that is the closer you will be to your higher self, is being absolutely just you without a filter. And I notice that a lot with other people in the world in general. I can tell. I'm sure, like many of you, or you yourself, have seen people be a little, not antsy, but a little agitated by somebody who's so themselves, because that's a hard thing to do, and it's a hard thing to be, because we've been conditioned by the lives of other people who don't know us, right? But yeah, to find your higher self and to connect with your higher self, just be you, and that means choose you, continuously choose you, over and over and over again, no matter what. That means, like, I made plans with my friends on the day of, and this has happened on the day of, I'm not feeling going out. Sometimes that's your higher self, sometimes that's your intuition, sometimes even warning you of something. That's happened to me before, where everybody wanted to go on a trip, and something in me, people call it your gut feeling, something told me I don't want to be on that trip, and I wouldn't go, and then they would have a car accident. So your higher self is always looking out for your best interest, and it will always choose you, like a navigation system. But all you have to do is let go of control, and then I think that is literally ultimate freedom, to allow everything to happen and then move into whatever you want just because you asked for it.